go fishing in the dark with the pale moonlight, 'cause we got stay-at-home orders and a curfew, yeah. Sometimes when you improvise a song, you just mess up 'cause you don't know the next words that are gonna come out of your mouth right now. Like, bow, wow, wow. That's the key, baby. When you're improvising a song on the intro, you just make sounds and it sounds good. A lot of it is confidence. You get stuck on a bar, someone says, drop a 16 off the top right there, and you start saying, I'm dripping in swag. Got it in the bag. And then when it comes to that, grag. If you say it confidently enough, they'll just let it go. But what fucks you up is when you start spitting a 16, drippity dropping off the top of the dome. Let it be known that when I'm in the zone, I just start flowing and knowing when I'm getting close to blowing. Like I'm just coming in, I can't stop. I'm not showing and I'm bro. Feel me? You just gotta say it confidently, pompously. That's the whole Eminem flow. That was my favorite Eminem. When you start Eminem the way I am. Eminem the way I am, clearly. Eminem is brilliant. As people out from Europe listen to Eminem, they start talking about him. And the people from like French Canada, yo, Eminem is mad brilliant, yo. Eminem is a wordsmith. He's brilliant. You know, like that's like Harry Potter. Like when Harry Potter, when they're like, because Eminem has to exist in the Harry Potter world, right? Like with the Muggles, but they listen to Eminem, and they got to be like going through fucking Hogwarts, and there's like 17-year-olds, and they're like, Eminem, he's fucking brilliant, I tell you. He's got mad skills, I tell you. I don't know why they have to be wizards. That was just what I connected to. Brilliant. I always thought that was crazy. Like growing up watching Harry Potter is whenever they would say brilliant, I'd be like, whoa, these are some fucking smart motherfuckers right there. I always tell my buddy, Sam Holland, he's been on the podcast, a European filmmaker from the same city as Robin Hood, Nottingham. I always tell him, sorry, my chair it's not locked in place, so I keep cranking it, and I feel like it's affecting the audio. Anyway, doesn't matter. This is the production side, baby. European people, that's why they narrate everything, is because their voice just sounds so much better and soothing. And I wonder if it's just for us Americans, where we think it just sounds so good, but they don't really give a shit. They're like, I can't stand that bloody piece of shit. He takes the bloody piss out of everything. I don't know that many phrases, okay? So I just got to go with what I've seen on Downton Abbey. I've only seen half an episode. God, we're a fraud. But it's true. Like, you listen to Planet Earth, you'll believe anything that dude will say. The ecosystem is changing. And due to modern man, we are fucking up the planet. That's what he should do. I don't know if you saw his latest Planet Earth, but it was like very heart-wrenching. And there's so much different opinions on global warming and what the cause is and how we actually fix it. But he makes you feel so bad. But he should get on there like that dude who would try to get you. Was it DeVry Institute? Do you remember that commercial if you're old enough? Where a dude would just come on the TV when you were a little kid and be like, hey man, what do you fucking do just sitting on the couch wasting your fucking life? He wouldn't cuss, but he would be like, you can go to DeVry Institute and you can fucking be whatever you want to be. Stop being a fucking fool. He didn't cuss, but he would just tell you, he'd be like, get up right now and call this number, man, make something out of your life. Instead, you're just wasting the day watching Jerry Springer and shit. Maury Povich. That was my shit. Maury Povich. I thought all that shit was real on Jerry Springer when I was a kid. You know, there's shit that happened on Jerry Springer that I can't even say the kind of people that participated because it's just not politically correct anymore, you know, but we know what I'm talking about. But they had a lot of wrestlers on there, if you know what I'm hinting at. But the guy with Planet Earth, he should narrate like that and just be like, if we don't stop fucking up the planet. If you fucks don't stop TikToking and start actually being good people and living off the earth in a good manner and not just sucking the resources out of it for your own personal gain, we're all going to be fucked. Planet Earth is fucked. I bet Elon Musk knows that. That's why Elon Musk is already like, Mars. We fucked this one up. Let's take as many smart people as we can to Mars, and we'll start there. Isn't that crazy? One day that's going to be the world. That's my life goal. That's my life dream, is one day we just have, like, I wish I had a time machine. This is my life dream. A time machine that could make me be able to view and drop into any time in existence. I'd want to go back to the fucking Big Bang and just be in a fucking astronaut suit and just floating through the cosmos, seeing that shit. Just seeing the beginning. And then I want to go to like the first time man, what we consider like a caveman, step out of that fucking cave. Just the first time a primate just fucking was like, I don't want this much fur anymore, you know? The first time someone said a fucking word. How crazy would that be? Someone just uttered some shit. Like, what was the first word ever said? You know? And I mean the first word that, not even the English language, but they obviously grunts. We started with grunts, probably. Like motioning for shit. I do that shit now still. It's just easier. I wonder what the first word in the English language was ever uttered. I gotta Google this. We're really going down a rabbit hole. The first English word ever said. This is what the internet was made for. Oh, great. There was no first word. At various times in the 5th century, the Anglo-Saxons, Jutes, and other Northern Europeans show up, what is now England, speaking various North Sea Germanic dialects that might or might not have been mutually understandable. Okay. According to Wiki Answers, the first word ever uttered was ah, which meant hey, and that was said by Australopithecine in Ethiopia more than 1 million years ago. Wow. Can you imagine being the first dude to talk? You get so much pussy. So much. You just hit him with that. Ah. Gushing. Gushing. It's just, listen, and that's not me being chauvinistic. It's just you flex that hard on them with a language. You got dudes over here fucking trying to start fires. Yeah, that's cool, I guess. But you get vocal? You get vocal with them? With that first word? Ah. The next word coming from them. Oh. Has to be, right? That was the response. Shocking. It's like in one of my favorite movie series of all time is The Planet of the Apes, the newer ones. The old ones are cool for historical purposes, but listen, just don't hold up, okay? They just don't hold up. Even the one with Mark Wahlberg, I like them all just because I like the story, okay? And I can get past, you know, for historical purposes, I can watch the old ones, but I love the new ones. Great story, great special effects, and they just did it. But the first time that Caesar speaks and he goes, no! Amazing. Because that had to have happened, you know, when we were evolving from primates. I know that's not, you know, some people have their beliefs. Science says otherwise. Science says otherwise. That kind of shit fascinates me. And if I could, I would love to have a time machine where I could just go see all of that shit. And the point I was getting at, I would love to see in the future where we literally are on other planets. Like, we're just infants on how long. If you've ever watched The Cosmos on Netflix, there's an episode. I don't know if it's the first episode. Might be the second. Maybe the first. But it puts Neil deGrasse Tyson puts into perspective how long humans have been on planet Earth and in the timeline of the existence of the universe. And it is completely insane. Earth, like, it shows the whole process that an asteroid and the moons of a different planet collide, and all of a sudden, because of that collision, we start getting a buildup of all these pieces that form Earth, and then it becomes a planet that has its own gravitational pull in the solar system, or it's moving within it, and we have our moon that gravitates around us, and because of that, it made Earth. Listen, go watch the episode. It'll clear up a lot of bullshit that I'm telling you right now. Neil deGrasse Tyson, The Cosmos, Season 1. But it shows the entire Earth's life on a calendar year. And it puts it all into there. And it goes through all these different periods. And then when you get to finally the last very fine line of December 31st, at the very tippity 9:30 p.m. on December 31st, humans have entered the chat. That is when we finally came into existence. And it feels like we've just been here for fucking ever because we're so self-centered as a culture where we're like, yeah, we've always kind of been here. That's why some people are like, nah, America can't fall. We're America. We've always been here. We're so young. We're an infant of an infant in comparison to how long the Earth has been here. So for our species, in the amount of time that Earth has been here and we came into existence from when now we're able to do space travel, it's not like we're the most technologically advanced species by far that's ever been in existence that we know of. We don't know. It's all just like these. We don't know if there was other humans or like us or something that happened before. And who knows? You guys want to get crazy? You want to go down this rabbit hole? Fuck it. There could have been humans before us. And just like we're experimenting with space travel, there could have been a whole society of humans, and they basically went off into space travel. And because of even just the crazy shit from people from Europe and people from Africa, how based on their external surroundings had a direct effect on their height, their size, their skin color, their bone density, all this different stuff to be able to adapt to different climates and lifestyles. That could have easily been the case of a previous society that lived here way before we did. And because of that, they had space travel, just like it's not crazy to think if we have space travel, that this previous human had space travel. They said, fuck this shit. There's going to be an asteroid. Shit's going to get all fucked up. We're leaving. And then they leave. Guess what? Now they're in space travel. They got all this advancement. Maybe they went off to another planet, another solar system, another universe, not a universe, but another, they're just fucking out of here, different galaxy. They would become so different that they would become aliens. That could be us from the future, and maybe it's because of these weird things that have been showing up all over the earth that I'm starting to dive back into aliens. But the only point I'm making is that in the future, if we stay alive and we don't get wiped out, we are going to populate different planets. We're already going from the first, the moon landing so many years ago to NASA and everything, to now we're starting to do these experiments with, living on Mars and everything like that and inhabiting it and becoming Martians. We're going to be the human race, but we're going to be earthlings. And just like we break up across states and continents and different countries and all of this stuff, dude, you have even different cities battling each other in the sense of pride and different turf wars. You don't think there's going to be a day where we've become so disconnected from Earth that now the Martians, different resources that they have access to that we don't have here on Earth, and they don't want to share them with us because we're like, hey, we need this, and they're like, nom, 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 nom. They'll probably still just talk like regular humans at that point. But they're like, no, we need it for our things. And we're like, well, we're not going to send you this. And then it's like the Martians are like, well, now we have to go to Earth to get these resources and take them. And it's like, oh, you try to come back home? You try to come back home? Fire at will, Going to catch these hands. Going to cut these hands off, put them in a box, send them directly to Mars so you can catch them personally overnight, Just a theory. Just a theory. But that's what's going to happen. Because if we fight with other countries, we all started in the same area, right? Then we split off and became different countries. And then we kind of forgot that we were all in this together. Kumbaya, bars. Peace, happy, love, whatever, unity, bars. But it's kind of nuts. And it doesn't take long. Like how we separated from Europe. And now we're just, we think we're completely different. I still drink tea every now and then, you know. Wasn't that long ago. Boston Tea Party? Not that long ago. But it definitely is going to happen in the future. And getting back on point, climbing out of this rabbit hole, I wouldn't mind having a time machine to be able to just see what in 1,000 years the universe looks like. Because we go into Mars, we're going to other places, you know? It's just a fact. It's hard to comprehend now because we're like, how are we going to do that? But it's like, life finds a way. Sometimes, like, to quote Jurassic Park, we think that it's like so crazy. The movie Jurassic Park, like if they actually were able to genetically create a dinosaur in the lab and bring them back. It's not that crazy. That's not the most fascinating thing. If you think about it, we have AI. We've created something so much better and more impressive than dinosaurs. Giant fucking lizard, okay? Giant fucking lizard. We have salamanders and shit. We got giant iguanas. We got monitor lizards. Those crazy giant ones that are out on the islands and they just fucking hug each other and spew their venom, toxic saliva on people. You know what I'm talking about. The dragon lizards or whatever they are. Basically dinosaurs. We have bears. We have gorillas. We have all these impressive animals. We have great white sharks. We have megalodons. We got whales. Do I need to go on? Elephants, you know? Giraffes and shit. It's like people think unicorns are crazy. You imagine if you never saw a giraffe and someone described it to you and you're just like, okay, it just has these fucking orange dots. It's a polka dot animal. You're telling me it's a polka dot animal that when it fights, it swings its head as hard as it can to hit the other one in the chest. Just all day. You wouldn't believe it. A shark, a great white shark, if you were like, there's a 30-foot face monster that swims around. It looks like a fish, but on its face, instead of being a fish, killing machine. Just a monster face. It's got a whole row of sharp-ass teeth that look like daggers that could just swallow a human whole. You wouldn't believe it? Try to describe orcas to someone? You're like, yeah. Like, can you imagine going to like in the Amazon where they have people who like have never seen real life, never seen a phone? Like undisturbed, very primitive tribes that have like never been discovered by man. You went to them and you're like, hey, we got these creatures that weigh over 3 tons and they're 40 feet long and they swim in pods. We call them killer whales. They're the most fierce animal on this planet. Here's the catch. Get this though. We catch them, we ride them and shit. Make them do tricks for us just for fucking fun. We take them out of the ocean and they get really sad because here's another crazy part about it. They're smarter than us. They like can communicate and shit and they have bigger brains than us and we think they actually like have a more complex dialect than we do. They just... But here's the catch. We don't give a fuck because we can't understand it. Can you imagine when a killer whale one day gets to the point of Caesar? No! We're going to be like, okay, we should put these back in the ocean. We already should put them back in the ocean. It's pretty fucked up. But anyway, can you imagine explaining that? Be like, yeah, we make them jump through hoops and shit. They wouldn't believe it. They can't wrap their mind around it. But think about AI. That shit is so much more complex and crazy that we invented it than if we created a Jurassic World. Okay? This is just a zoo with reptiles. A zoo with cinematic movie or music, you know? If they just play Jurassic Park music at zoos, it'd be just as good. If every time you went to an exhibit of the lion, they were feeding it, but you gave it a goat, that's what we should do. Turn zoos into nature is metal, you know? Get us back in touch with the food chain. Let us know what's real. No more of this bullshit, okay? This is why these places have trouble and we like get over them. It's because it's not real. We're like, this is Leo and he is our lion that we've had for 10 years. And he's fucking depressed over in the corner. Listen, if you're listening to me right now, I know for a fact every single listener right now of this podcast, 9 out of 10 times you go to the zoo, you have to hunt for that fucking lion like Where's Waldo to find it in the exhibit. And then 8 out of 10 times, all you see is its fucking back, just sleeping in a corner somewhere, depressed as fuck. Not even just, it's just, it has no why. It has no why for why it's a lion, you know? You get lucky, 5 out of 10 times, you see it move from one side of the corner to the other. 3 out of 10 times, you catch a glimpse of its eye. And it just, goes to the other side to sleep because it's fucking bored. It says, well, I get fed out of a fucking bucket. I ain't got shit to do. 1 out of every 10 times you go to the zoo, you make eye contact with that fucking lion. And it's trying to tell you, I'm a fucking lion. I remember one time I went to the San Diego Zoo. Bars. Shout out San Diego Zoo. And a lion was pacing back and forth on the thing. And it locked eyes with me in a way that it said, listen, I could probably jump this thing and kill you right now in front of everybody if I wanted to. Just because it's a Tuesday and I'm a lion. It looked into my soul. I felt it. We had a very primal connection. And I don't mean that in a weird way, like the way dudes call themselves lions and are fucking beast, bro, in the gym and shit. Really corny. If you've ever referred to yourself as a lion or a beast and think you're an alpha, don't ever stop. Don't ever post anything like that again. All right? This is a PSA. Don't post that kind of stuff on social media. It's very cringy. But if we brought back the food chain to the zoo environment, we released what these animals like to eat and let them frolic around. We create an ecosystem. That would bring people back to the zoo. That would even bring back people or the life of that animal. And this has come from someone who's against zoos and animals in captivity that shouldn't be in captivity. My dog Beowulf, she wouldn't know what the fuck to do if I put her out in the wild. She'd be outside my door. I could take her 200 miles away. I could take her to Los Angeles forest right now. Los Padres. She'll be back on my fucking doorstep in 4 hours, wanting her fucking bone, wanting her treat for the day. She belongs in captivity. We've genetically made her that way. Not me in a lab. You don't find out that I'm the fucking doctor from Jurassic World. But I'm against that kind of thing with zoos. When they capture lions in like in the black market and shit, they buy lions. Like, I don't think there should be that. I think zoos, and this is me, obviously I don't really know a lot about the whole zoo setting. I have had a zoologist on the podcast, one of my early episodes. Shout out, it's a great episode. She talked about pangolins and everything that was going on. Would love to have her back on. But I don't know much about the zoo setting. And maybe this is already something that's implemented, where it's like all the animals in the zoo are kind of rehabilitation centers. And I want to say that's kind of how it is. I don't think there's very many in the mainstream zoos where it's, animals that are just bought to show. I think that we're kind of past that. But I would like to have her back on the podcast to talk about this. Those are some questions I have. I would love to see a gazelle, released in a lion exhibit. I pay good money to see it. I'm sorry I said it. I just want to see the realness. I want to see that lion happy, Because that day, sadly, in a weird, sick, dark, twisted way, I made it happy by it seeing me. Don't know what it is about me. But it was like, I want to hunt you. It was very creepy. Very creepy. Very creepy. That happened to me. I think I talked about this on the podcast before, so I'll keep it brief. Camping in Thousand Trails. I was stalked by a mountain lion, and it was one of the creepiest experiences of my life. My brother and I were taking out the trash at night, and we were driving on our bikes, hanging out the trash, one hand hanging with the trash can, and we went and emptied it, and between the open wilderness of Acton, California, there's like a 30 to 40 yard run of just grass and like lights and a bathroom. And then there's the road that we were on. And then it's just wilderness. So about 40 yards separated me from the wilderness. We start emptying the trash. And as I turn around, I fall off my bike. Like I fall because I'm trying to drive with one thing. And my brother goes, Evan. And I look, and we look to the wilderness, and a fucking mountain lion comes out really slow. And it's just like, and it starts moving really low on the ground, but like kind of starting to speed up when I was actually like off the bike. And then we just got on the bike, but I remember like the fear it put in me. And I get back on the bike and I start riding as fast as we can. And we're like yelling and everything. So I think we spooked it, and it just didn't chase us. It could have caught us so fast. And it probably was the wrong thing to do, to get on the bike, because I've seen the way a pet cat chases something when it runs. It was like that probably instinctually could have set it off. And I'm lucky to be here today doing a podcast in front of you. Okay. Wow, we did so much just off of that. Crazy. I know we had the Newsom stay-at-home orders here in California. You know what? One thing he said, go out in nature. Go fishing. And guess what, Newsom? Gonna do that. Before this whole stay-at-home thing, I've had an Airbnb reserved at a lake up north for a while now, and I'm leaving tomorrow for it. And there'll be guidelines and everything in place. It's still legally allowed to happen. Just gonna be me and my woman, and got a private dock with it. Very excited because I can fish off of it. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spend the next few days fishing off of a dock and just being a simple man, okay? Just gonna be a simple man and live, all right? I'm gonna be focused on fishing and exploring Yosemite. Just socially distanced for you fucking nerds that DM me shit. But I'm excited. I love fishing. Trout fishing. I could do it all day. I grew up around Apollo Park. Shout out to the AV. And it was just always stocked fish. But the smell of power bait, treble hooks, just casting out, catching them rainbow trouts. I fucking love it. Makes my willy tingle. That feeling when you have some power bait out there, and all of a sudden your pole just starts pop, 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 bending, pop, 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 pop. You gotta hook that sucker, pss, reeling it in. That feeling when you're fighting it, and then when you get it on the land, euphoric, orgasmic, as Arnold Schwarzenegger would say. You know, it's a beautiful thing, and I'm very excited to trout fish. That's actually I go back and forth between salmon and trout. Trout might be my favorite tasting fish. And I know it's a simple fish. Some might look at it as the chicken of the fish world, but I'm good with it. I talked about it the other day that chicken is a great thing. It's just in abundance. But it's delicious. You can cook chicken so many different ways. Same with trout. Here's my thing. And listen, hit me up. I don't care going trout fishing with anybody. When I was a little kid, I'm lucky I didn't get molested by some old man at the park, okay? Because I'd be on the fishing boards trying to meet old men to teach me how to fish, okay? My dad's Puerto Rican. My dad worked in construction all the time. He wasn't around. He didn't grow up fishing. My dad didn't know what fishing was in Brooklyn. Fishing to my dad was going out to like Vaughn's and picking up fish, you know? So I would meet these old men at the park. They'd be like, I'll be wearing this hat. And I'd be sitting across the pool, like the pond. I keep saying the park because it was Apollo Park and it's like a lake. But I'd be sitting across the lake. They'd be like, I'm going to be wearing this blue hat and this color jacket. Feel free to come up to me. And I'd be like watching them across the park. I keep stuttering with it. Across the lake. And I'd just be watching, making sure they weren't a weirdo. And then I'd approach them. I'd be like, hey, it's me, Puerto Rican Pigeon. Teach me how to fish. Yeah. Pigeon was like my name on everything when I was a kid. Puerto Rican Pigeon, Blue Otter Pop. I just would get wacky with it. But that's how I would learn how to fish. And I would love catching a trout, gutting it myself as a little kid, cutting the head off, getting it all ready. People are like, oh, do you like trout fillets? They're good if you have a big enough trout, but if you want to get all the usage out of that trout, you want to leave the bones in. You just cut the head off, gut it very nicely, leave all the skin, everything. And then what you do, you stuff that center. You stuff that center with butter, peeled fresh garlic, salt, a little bit of pepper. Wrap that bad boy in foil. Let that bitch cook for like 12 minutes on a grill. Flip it maybe at the 6-minute mark. That's real nice. Real nice. You gotta stuff it with the garlic. And you can mince those garlics. And then you stuff it with it. Bars. And that's what I'm gonna do this weekend. Maybe I'll catch some fish. Maybe I'll post some pictures. I better catch some fucking fish. I'm gonna catch something this weekend. I'm either catching fish or COVID. Now I'm ready for either one, baby. I've been taking Flintstone vitamins since before I was in the womb. Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fun one. I'm glad we got into some deeper topics. Listen, sometimes I get too political on here, and it makes me feel bad because I want this to be an escape from the reality of how annoying shit is. The whole world's overstimulated with it. And I kind of just go off with whatever I want to talk about. And sometimes I don't want to talk about politics. That's not why you're here. I'm not your news station. Sometimes I want to talk about fucking Caesar the gorilla going, no! And what Martians are going to be like, you know? So everybody always, thank you so much for giving me your time. Thank you for listening. It still blows my mind that people listen to this and enjoy it. And that's why I continue to try to level up the game. And as time goes on, the podcast is only going to get bigger and better. Yeah, got some exciting things in the works. And it's all because I love you, baby. Yeah, y'all have a good weekend. Y'all stay safe. And I love you.